Is this the real recipe of a successful CEO in whatever industry? You cannot have only a good idea. You need to grind your skin in the game.
Well, I'll say a few things. One is there's the two main things people talk about are the great idea and execution. And what I can tell you is everybody that I respect include, will say, and I agree with this statement, if you have to choose between the two, we'll take execution. I'll take execution of a bad idea, great execution of a bad idea over poor execution of a great idea. Without execution, you've got nothing. So it doesn't matter how good the idea is. And so that's a lesson that when you're an operator, you learn because you realize those great ideas that I have aren't working or they're not working as well as I had thought because this thing called the real world interferes. And,
Yeah.
there's problems, there's challenges. What do you mean the shipment didn't arrive? And all of these things that happen in the so definitely the years sort of grinding it out force you to focus on execution and making sure that that what you're trying to accomplish gets done in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not it doesn't happen the way you would have envisioned it originally. The second thing, back to your point about the questions, I have two kids who are teenagers now, and both me and my wife have really focused them on curiosity because questions come from curiosity. And if you don't have curiosity, maybe it's because you think you have all the answers or you already know everything or just, you're not that interested or intrigued in whatever the subject is. But if you sort of if you cultivate a healthy amount of curiosity, then for me, you could drop me out of an airplane anywhere on the planet and into any circumstance and whoever I would meet, I'm a curious person. So it's just like, so tell me a little bit about your life and how did you get to be you? And, so why are you interested in cars and engines and, some of the things that you and I have talked about before. So it doesn't have to be something that I have some passion for. In many ways, I'm more curious about the things that I don't have passion for because, wow, you're passionate about this thing that I'm not passionate about. Why? Tell me, how did you become so passionate about this subject? And I think, you know, I once heard Peter Diamandis speak, and, he's a brilliant a person who, he's written books like Abundance and Bold and, founded Singularity University. And this was maybe a decade ago or so. And he said he had dropped off his twin 5-year-olds, I think for kindergarten or first grade or something. And he said, the last thing I said to my kids was ask good questions. He said, because we are pretty much at a place in time where all of the answers are out there. And he was saying this before ChatGPT, when we just had the internet. But
Uh-huh.
but now with AI, all of the answers are out there. So he basically said the way we're going to differentiate between humans is who can ask the best questions. And so I've thought a lot about that sort of framing, and I think it's even more accurate today than when he said it 10 years ago. It really does
Yes.
come down to, are you asking the right questions? And the other piece to it too is the reason why I started with curiosity as opposed to question asking is because I think all of us probably at some point or another have met someone who might at least at first seem like a really good question asker, but then you realize they're either not listening for the answers or they don't really care what the answers are, or they're just sort of in their mind formulating what their next question is. And it's not really coming from a place of true curiosity. They might just be thinking, well, people like to talk about themselves, so I'll ask them questions and then they can talk about themselves and that'll help them, help me ingratiate myself into them. But perceptive people can pick up on that. And you can tell, is this question coming from a place of authentic curiosity, or is this some manipulation? And so, but if you come from a genuine place in your heart of true curiosity and just the desire to understand another person, that's the place to come from. And if you can come from that place, you can ask good questions.